Hello, how you doing? Hey, this is Cedric, man, from Military Ring Express. That's going to be www.militaryringexpress.com. Militaryringexpress.com. I'm coming at you again doing another infomercial for you. Also getting a little bit of advertisement for our military rings that we offer you, but giving you information at the same time. So I'm trying to, make a sales pitch, and I'm trying to drop some knowledge on you all in once. My topic for today, I'm going to talk about an incident that happened some years ago, a couple of years ago. It may have been whatever, but I'm talking about the way in the time that we took out Osama bin Laden. Bin Laden was killed in that raid, and I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. I'm going to be honest with you. But, there are some speculations that we can make about what really happened. There are some speculations we can make about why it happened the way it did. And I'm just going to talk to you for a minute, and just to give you something to think about, because there's a lot of things that can be said. But now, our government is not necessarily going to give us the whole truth. And the reason they're doing that, not necessarily that they're going to lie, but they just ain't going to tell the whole truth. Because 9 out of 10, they can't tell the whole truth because it may have a detrimental effect to our national security. So, they're going to give you a little bit and they're going to leave a lot out. But the first question, we've heard a story. And the big thing I think that our government kind of like doesn't really tell you, but it's like the big, the white elephant in the room, is the fact that bin Laden was living in Pakistan. How in the world did he live in Pakistan when the government of Pakistan is accepting aid from the United States and not really cooperating with the United States in many things? But he's living in Pakistan, right in a military compound. And you mean to tell me the Pakistani government didn't know he was there? If y'all believe that, I tell you what, if you believe that, I'm going to tell you, open your bank account, withdraw all your money, send it to me, and I'm going to double it and send it back to you tomorrow. All right? Okay? No, they were protecting bin Laden. And I'm pretty sure that the United States knew that the Pakistani government was protecting bin Laden. But, they have to play the diplomatic game. They have to act like they don't know and say they don't know. But they really knew what was going on. The American people didn't, but our government knew. They got sense enough. If I got sense enough to know, they got much more sense and much more money and more technology. Because all the technology I got is a computer and a cell phone. So if I know it, they knew it. But they had to go in and do it the right way. And if they had told that to the American people, can you imagine the backlash and the response that it would have caused? So see, some things are better left unsaid. But there's no doubt in my mind that the Pakistanis sheltered him. Then I got another question. Well, not a question, but something I want you to think about. They say he was killed the night of the raid. And that could well be true. I don't know. That could well be true. But think about it. Think about how much intelligence they could have gotten off of him if they had kept him alive for a little while and seriously interrogated him very hard. And to be honest with you, well, I'll go ahead and say, to be honest with you, it wouldn't have bothered me if they had tortured him, because when I look at all the men, women, and children that he arbitrarily killed, I wouldn't have had sympathy on him. I'm going to be honest with you. But now, they say they killed him that night. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it's just something to think about. But I know one thing. I know there was no way possible after that raid that bin Laden could have surfaced anywhere in the world alive. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But they got some good intelligence. Even if they did kill him on the spot, like they said, they were still able to get a lot of good intelligence because he had some computers there with a bunch of information downloaded, this, that, and the other. So I'm pretty sure that they got a lot of good intelligence. And have you noticed that since that bin Laden capture, you haven't really heard much at all out of Al Qaeda? You know, their symbolic leader was gone, well, is gone. And I believe that what happened, another thing that happened is that they got a lot of actionable intelligence from that raid. And they used that intelligence to wipe out as much of Al Qaeda as they could get to. And I really believe that the information that they got went down very deeply and gave them a lot to work with in the process. But his death, keeping bin Laden alive, letting the world, even if he was alive, you know, if I had been commander in chief, if I had been president, I don't know if I would have told the world that he was still alive. Because, first of all, he becomes a big liability in that you got this famous terrorist that you're holding still alive somewhere. Can you imagine the backlash that that would have brought from the Islamic world? And then it would have brought the same kind of backlash from a lot of these mamby-pamby nations, you know, that kowtow to everything wrong. So I don't think keeping him alive was an option. If we had captured bin Laden alive and let the world know it, can you imagine how many people, innocent people, that Al Qaeda would have slaughtered and kidnapped in retribution and retaliation? I believe they would have kidnapped enough, they would have probably kidnapped people in mass numbers, and I imagine executed people in mass numbers until we released bin Laden back to them. I have no doubt that it would have happened. So keeping him alive would have been too much of a problem. I believe that the SEALs knew that when they went in. They knew they couldn't, you know, they knew he had to be executed. And they maybe it happened like they said, you know, I don't know. Well, I'm just throwing this stuff at you, and just to give you something to think about, you know, because I don't doubt it. I don't doubt anything that I'm telling you. You know, it's very possible, and I wouldn't be surprised to find that it did happen exactly the way I'm telling you. And if it did happen that way, would I be upset about it? No, because it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense in the sense of national security first and foremost, and it makes perfect sense in the sense of having to deal, as the leader of the free world, having to deal with the backlash that would have come from other nations. So it made absolute perfect 100% sense to do it the way it happened. And it just so happens that it worked out perfectly, you know? It just worked out perfectly. So let's, you know, consider those things. You know, and also, yeah, the last point I want to make is the way his body was disposed of. There was no better way to do that. Can you imagine, even if he were killed and we had kept his dead body, there would have been just as much of a backlash, or maybe even more of a backlash, if we had kept him alive and the Islamic world had found out about it. Because his body, you know, bin Laden being the leader of that terrorist movement, and also a Muslim, I mean, other Muslims, even those who are not involved in Al Qaeda, if we had his body, there would have been a serious uproar. There would have been a religious thing, you know, because according to their religion, the body has to be treated a certain way. And if we had that body and kept it for any amount of time, we wouldn't have been doing, you know, what their religion dictates. And so that would have caused a serious amount of backlash. That would have caused really bad relationships and repercussions. So, you know, by chance, it worked out right. But anyway, hey, this is Cedric Military Ring Express, www.militaryringexpress.com, Military Ring Express. We're glad to serve you, and we invite you to go to our website and look around. And we believe that we can have something. We can supply every man, every woman who's been affiliated with the military or has a loved one affiliated with the military. We believe that we can meet every possible need. So until next time, I give you a rousing and a hearty, warm goodbye.